Hello, we are now at day 16 of my daily vlog, and two parts. The first part is going to be about what's new, and the second part is going to be about another weird topic that I chose for today. So first part, what's new? The main thing is that someone finally replied to one of my offers on the online website, Upwork, which is sort of like an online website for freelancers that acts as an agent and connects them to people that need jobs. I've only got an offer. I haven't done it yet, but it's a nice step for me. I've also done a lot of research on Fiverr and other similar sites where I could promote my work and where others could order something from me. So I'm looking forward to that. But right now, I'm probably going to focus more on building a brand and providing some content that could bring some value to people and hoping that they find what I do for money through that. So sort of like an indirect marketing, which I find a lot of sources now that say that it has potential nowadays. And I've thought that that's the right way to go for a long time. So now that I found supporting evidence, I decided that that's the way I'm going to go. So basically, make tutorials, make YouTube videos, make just about anything I can where I can share my experience and knowledge. And if people enjoy it, they will tune into that. And if they are more interested in me, then they can click through and find that I actually do something. And through that, they might find me worth hiring for something that they might use, or someone else they know could be looking for me. So sort of like a trade. I give them something for free, and then they will hopefully refer me in the future. That's the plan. We'll see how it goes in a few months. The second part is about paying for something. And the concept of it is that you can pay with time or you can pay with money. So let's say you really like food, but you're not really that good at cooking. So you could spend time learning that, or you can spend time doing something else that you're good at that makes you money, and then use that money to pay someone else to do it for you. So in this case, you like food, you don't like to cook, you do your job and some extra, and that time that you didn't spend on cooking, you spent on doing your job, you get the money for it, and then you pay for that extra service. In theory, it's supposed to work the way that you should cook your own food, which could cost $20 and it'll take you an hour. But in that hour, you can make $40 doing what you're good at doing. And then you only spend $20 paying someone to make that food, and you keep the extra $20, which is efficient. There are a few difficulties with it. If you want to pay a lot of money for something that you would have been better off investing that time into. A good example would be exercise. A lot of people spend tons of money on plastic surgery, liposuction, just about anything, that special expensive diet, on that regime, on some extra books, on courses, on just about anything, where there's a lot of money involved, and you hope that you save time. But the money you pay is essentially money you got for your time doing something else. And in my opinion, there are a lot of things where people are more than willing to pay money, but not willing to sacrifice their time for it. So in case you really love your job to death, that's great, because you can do your job and then you can get the results. But oftentimes you might as well just pay that extra time towards that thing you want to accomplish. You might not get those bonuses, but you have more time for finishing those things that you would have used that extra money for. You can finish that by yourself now. And on top of it, you'll have that feeling of accomplishment that you did something for yourself, which a lot of people seem to find that it's missing from their lives. So I think this could be a good source of it, where just thinking about it in terms of expenses, of how much does it really cost, the actual, let's say, the value of it. So it could cost you $20 or it could cost you 2 hours. Of course, in those 2 hours, you might make $30 at work, but for that extra $10, you can now purchase that feeling of you doing something, let's say. I know it's not nearly as simple as that, but I think the concept of it is something that could be useful in evaluating if you really want something, or if it's worth just doing what you do more and then using that money that you get for paying for those things. It's also helpful in distinguishing what should be important to you, let's say. So if something costs a lot of money, but you can do it in half the time that it will take you to make that money, then why not just do it yourself? You can learn it yourself and you'll get that extra knowledge on top. You might not want it, but it's definitely helpful in understanding that thing you do. So for example, you might want to learn how to repair some simple stuff on your computer. Sure, it might take you 2 hours or 3 hours of learning about something that you might not enjoy, but it's going to bring you value in knowing that from now on in the future as well. Whereas someone else could do that for you in an hour and they'll charge you $100, let's say, for fixing that PC. Well, what's worth more? Let's say you like your job much more than learning about PCs, but I still feel that the real value of what that time would bring is much different from what a lot of people acknowledge or seem to be capable of putting together. That it's only going to cost them 2 or 3 hours, and of course they might want to pay $100, but they're not. It's just going to help them that one time. Whereas if they learn it now, the next time it happens, they've already invested those 2 hours. They know what's up. They can fix it again. Or if it isn't that particular thing that happens, it is similar enough to where they can fix other problems as well. So once you learn one skill, it has a secondary effect on other skills as well, which might overlap, even the slightest bit. So it's a compounding effect, which just paying money for it doesn't bring. And if you're already doing your job for money, you're spending enough time on it, unless you're a real freak in which you want to spend 18 hours a day on doing the same thing. I don't know. It seems like having this balance of different skills and being able to fix different parts of your life is something that's missing. Why do I say it's missing? Because a lot of people mention it. You see like, oh, kids nowadays can't even fix their own plumbing, or can't fix their shower, or can't build their own, shelves, let's say. Well, yes, because in the terms that we've been taught, it's much more effective to focus on one thing, make more money that you would have spent for that same time. You can learn something that would have cost you $20 in an hour, or you can make $30 doing something that you already know. So in that hyper specialized world, which is only going to get much more specialized in my opinion, it makes sense to just do what you do best and then spend only a part of that money on doing that thing that you need. However, I think this is all well and good until you take into account how human beings are, and that you need multiple sources of knowledge or multiple areas of interest for you to feel accomplished. Because let's say you are a great programmer and you can do nothing else beside that. You might have enough money to have everyone else do it, but a lot of people seem that they're not fulfilled enough by just doing that one thing. If you are, that's great, good for you. But I feel like there's too many people out there who aren't, and they don't know why that is. So maybe instead of spending that extra hour focusing on those profit gains for the next quarter, they can instead go home and learn a bit about how to train your dog instead of taking them to an expensive daycare center. Of course, it's that thing of it's convenient and easy doing the thing you already do well and get paid for, versus it's hard to convince yourself doing something you're not good at and might embarrass yourself in front of yourself, let's say. So it's coming to terms with how much you're willing to sacrifice for the long-term game, once again. Anyway, that's about it. I'll think of something again tomorrow, so see you again then. Have a good evening.